All right, begin.
What up, y'all? So things are looking promising for Wendy Williams when it comes to having access to her bank accounts. We know the daytime queen has been suffering for months, not being able to have access to her money, all because somebody said that she was not mentally stable to be financially responsible. Now, that somebody was Wendy's former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, who went back to Wells Fargo and concocted this story based off of emotions because Wendy had fired her. And so with Wendy not having access to her accounts, in order for the daytime talk show queen to stay afloat, she had to borrow money from friends, and she also had to use a multitude of credit cards to stay afloat. And so it says here, Wendy Williams will soon have access to her millions after a court appointed a financial guardian over her bank accounts. Wendy's contentious battle with Wells Fargo to unfreeze her bank accounts is officially over after a New York judge appointed a financial guardian to oversee her finances, the Sun can exclusively reveal. As a source explained, the guardianship process is complete, which means the court appointed a financial guardian. Now it's up to the guardian, Wendy, and the court as to how she will be accessing her money. At this point in the process, Wells Fargo is no longer involved in the court proceedings, and the bank will be acting at the direction of Wendy's guardian, and Wendy, who is 57, one insider claimed. Several sources have also revealed that there was a temporary guardian in place since at least March, though it's unclear if the official court-appointed financial guardian is the same person. A source familiar with the process added that whoever is in place is someone who is financially savvy and who is able to understand the various accounts that hold Wendy's fortune. As one insider revealed, the court can eventually decide to give Wendy back full control over her accounts and end the guardianship, but that is up to the court. In the meantime, Wendy is said to still have a voice and still has a say when it comes to her finances, as while she doesn't have 100% control right now. That could all change depending on what the court decides. This isn't like a Britney Spears conservatorship. This is a financial guardian. This is someone who is watching over her finances, who is making sure that the decisions that are happening with her accounts are in her best interest. When Wendy asks for something to happen, the guardian is making sure it is in her own financial best interest first. Meanwhile, another source told The Sun that Wendy could possibly have access to her accounts as soon as July, after several productive meetings that have transpired in favor of the former daytime talk queen. Alright, so one thing that's puzzling to me is the fact that we all know that Wendy had recently sat down with Fat Joe and did an interview, and that interview was awkward as hell. And so if we're seeing it, I'm pretty sure that Wells Fargo's seen it. And in my estimation, how Wendy presented herself during that interview with Fat Joe supports the argument that Wells Fargo has against her that she's not mentally stable. Now, a lot of people feel that Wendy was just giving Joe the runaround because she was trying to duck and dodge certain questions. But honestly, I don't know, because if you're trying to show Wells Fargo and your fans and people that are doubting your mental capacity that you're okay and that you're fine mentally, I don't understand why would you go and do an interview with Fat Joe and act the way that she did, right? Because that doesn't support that Wendy is okay mentally. It really didn't, not at all. And so I feel that they would use the interview that she did with Fat Joe ultimately to railroad her and use it to support their argument that Wendy is not mentally capable to handle her bank accounts. Now, another thing that I noticed within this report is the fact that they're withholding the name of the individual that was allegedly appointed to be Wendy's legal guardian. Now, there could be a plethora of reasons of why they're withholding the identity of the guardian, because number one, it's really none of our damn business. Let's just keep it all the way real. And number two, it could be for security purposes, and I understand that, but at the end of the day, this story just sounds funny to me. But I hope that Wendy gets full access to her money. She deserves it. And not to mention that Wendy worked incredibly hard to obtain the wealth that she has. And so I just hope the best for Wendy in that regard, that she can get her life back on track, her health back on track, and that she will have full access to her money. All right. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and transition to the next story. And I want to talk about Bronny James. Bronny James lit a fire on the internet that has been yet put out because he took a girl that was of a different hue to the prom, and people within our community are upset to the 10th power that he had the audacity to do so. Now, former NFL player Robert Griffin III, for short RG3, with the toe-up knee, came to the defense of Bronny James and said that Bronny shouldn't be receiving all of this backlash and that Bronny should be able to take anybody he wants to the prom.
A lot of miserable people tonight because he decided to take a white girl to prom as his date. First of all, it's 2022. What's wrong with that? He can take an avatar to prom for all I care. Who he chooses is who he chooses. And secondly, it's giving weird energy that a bunch of grown men and women, 40-year-old men and women, are trying to tell a 17-year-old who they think he should bring to prom. This ain't got nothing to do with LeBron and Savannah not raising Bronny right, and the color of the skin of the girl that he takes to prom should not matter. Leave these kids alone.
What's wrong with that? All right. So yeah, he killed me when he said that. What's wrong with that? Now, for the record, RG3, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the reason why RG3 is so pressed about this particular subject, and I see a lot of people asking, why was he so mad about this, is the fact that back in 2012, there was an ESPN analyst by the name of Rob Parker that has made some disparaging remarks in regards to who he decided to date himself, because we all know, if you don't know, RG3 has always dated Becky or Rebecca. And so basically, let's take a listen and a look at what Rob Parker had to say in regards to RG3 back in 2012.
Topic, but for me, personally, just me, this throws up a red flag when I keep hearing, and I don't know who's asking the questions, but we've heard a couple of times now of a black guy kind of distancing himself away from black people.
Okay.
I understand the whole story of, I just want to be the best. Nobody's out on the field saying to themselves, I want to be the best black quarterback. You're just playing football, right? You just want to be the best. You want to throw the most touchdowns and have the most yards and win the most games. Nobody is doing that. But time and time we keep hearing this, so it just makes me wonder deeper about him. And I talked to some people down in Washington, D.C., and my question, honest...
Friends of yours, right?
Friends of mine, right? Who are around and in some of the press conferences, people I've known for a long time. But my question, which is just a straight, honest question, is he a brother or is he a cornball brother?
What does that mean?
Yeah, explain that.
Well, he's not really. Okay, he's black, he kind of does the thing, but he's not really down with the cause. He's not one of us. He's kind of black, he's in the, but he's not really like the guy you really want to hang out with because he's off to something else.
Why is that your question?
Well, because that's just how I want to find out about him. I don't know, because I keep hearing these things. We all know he has a white fiance, and there was all this talk about he's a Republican, which there's no information at all. I'm just trying to dig deeper into why he has an issue, because we did find out with Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was like, I got black skin, but don't call me black. So people got a little wondered about Tiger Woods early on about him.
What do RG3's braids say to you?
Now that's different, because to me, that's very urban and makes you feel like, I think he would have a clean cut if he was more straight lace or not. Like wearing braids is, you're a brother. You're a brother if you got braids on.
All right, so you guys heard that. So that was Rob Parker, the former ESPN analyst who ridiculed RG3 for dating Amanda and also being a Republican. Now, I'm of the mindset that you should be able to date who you want. That's your prerogative. That's your business, right? It doesn't matter. You can love who you love. You can go to bed with whoever you want to go to bed with. Now, the problem that I have with RG3 is that we just had a travesty to happen to our community with this Buffalo shooting. And you didn't even have the common decency or the presence of mind, right, to send your condolences to all the people that lost their lives in the Buffalo shooting. You were more concerned about Becky and Amanda and people coming for Becky and Amanda because that is what you identify with. And the fact that Rob Parker came at you in 2012 shows that you're still bothered by what he did to you and what he said about you. And so it comes across like RG3 doesn't even care what happened in Buffalo. He's far removed from our community, and it's just sad. And so we know where you stand at, because listen, you've already divorced the Becky and then you went to Amanda. So in all honesty, it shows that women that have the same hue as me don't stand a chance with you. And at the end of the day, that's fine. Like I said previously, you are attracted to who you are attracted to, and no one should be ridiculed for their choices in that regard. But at the same time, my man, at the same time, did you see what happened in Buffalo? Or is that not a priority of yours to actually come out and condemn what took place in Buffalo, being the fact that you have a platform, even though it's a small platform, you know, and who am I to talk with my small platform? But what I'm saying is I'm grateful for my platform. But dude, you're on TV, right? You're an ESPN analyst, a former NFL player, and you can't come out and condemn what took place in Buffalo, but you can come out and condemn people questioning who Bronny took to the prom. Now, let me say this. There's some pictures that have surfaced on the internet of LeBron James actually taking Becky to the prom back in the day. And so people are saying, well, at least LeBron came to his senses and he ended up with Savannah and things like that. But at the end of the day, listen, again, people can date whoever they want to date. They can take whoever they want to the prom. But with RG3, it's pretty clear and evident whose side he is on. And with that said, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that I talked about within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.